Oh, he is not the smartest woodpecker. I was inside the building there. I kept hearing what sounded like a machine gun. And it was a woodpecker in the gutter on a metal building. So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It is an absolutely beautiful morning. I mean, it's just perfect. It's only about 50 degrees, no humidity. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. I'm down here at the wood yard. I'm just going to get a few things ready for Levi and John. They're going to be splitting some firewood today and filling some baskets. I'm going to cut a little bit of wood, but then I'm going to head out to the new road and get that finished up and ready for stone. But yeah, boy, there's a nice breeze. It's actually a little chilly this morning. It was more of a long sleeve kind of day, you know? This is that basket that I built last year. Levi filled this all up with red oak. This thing, it's holding up really well, but I wouldn't want to move it around a lot. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good and sturdy. It's not going anywhere, but I just don't think it would hold up near as well as just like an IBC tote. But this one, we only move like once a year. We'll put it by the splitter, fill it up like that, and that'll be it. But that was made out of white oak. And what was the other wood? Oh, I think a little bit of sassafras, actually, is what I made that out of. And when I come down here, I love to just stare at the woodshed every once in a while. I find myself doing that. Chock full of premium Pennsylvania hardwoods. That's beautiful. That end down there, all red oak. That whole bay on the end is filled from front to back, top to bottom with red oak. Everything else is a mix of cherry, maple, and red oak. So that last bay, it will not be ready for this year. That'll be for the following year. However, our new kiln is just about ready to ship. So we got to get started on that. We need a small building for that. The kiln will be mostly used for lumber, but it does have the capability to dry firewood as well. So that'll be really nice for the red oak, actually, because you could let that stuff just air dry for 6 or 8 months. I don't know, maybe I'm talking out of turn here because I don't have it yet, but we're going to do some tests with that and see, you know, what it costs and how long it takes to dry firewood. And you don't have to get firewood down, you know, dry near as much as you do lumber, but we'll do some tests with that. We may dry some firewood as well, mostly just for bundle wood, but we'll see how that goes. So the new kiln should be here within a couple weeks. It's coming, maybe even a week or so. All right, I just cut up just a little bit of maple there. Levi's coming down. He'll split up this red oak right here, fill that basket over there. John will fill up those baskets out of the bunker, and then Levi can bring the split force from there over to here, split this maple, into the bunker. I try this time of year to separate the red oak or white oak or whatever from like your maple and cherry. If you split this stuff here, relatively, you know, just nothing real big, you'll be able to use this winter, no problem at all. It'll dry fast once it's in the baskets. But the oak, as I always say, takes a while. So I had about 10 things planned today. I knew I wouldn't get them all done, but I was expecting a pretty good day. I just had a minor setback. The other day, I mentioned with this tilt bucket, I like to set it up against a log or something, because when you take it off, it can sometimes roll backwards. That's probably not the best advice, because I just hooked it back up, and when I lowered this to curl the bucket and pick it up, there's a 90 right here, and it's just one of those things. Part of the log came out here, busted that fitting, so now I gotta go get a new fitting. No matter what you do, it's gonna take an hour and a half. I actually just got to looking. This is crimped on here, so I need to take this whole hose off. And of course, it is Saturday. If this had happened during the week, I could have went to a hose shop about 10 minutes from the house. But they are not open today, so we need to go down to the city. Well, not really the city, but Neville Island. I've never been to this place, but they are open today, so hopefully they can get me fixed up. So it's about a 30-minute drive down here. Hopefully they aren't too busy, but I'm guessing they are, just because it's a nice day and most hose shops are closed today. So I figure everyone that broke something is going to be here as well. There's one of those Sunbelt rentals over there. They're a big rental outfit. I think they're all over the country. I saw a video the other day. Some guy in California did this video, and there was a Sunbelt Rentals out there, and they had 5 new skid loaders, Bobcats. These were electric, all electric, and they cost $250,000. So that's about 3 times of what a diesel powered one was. So you'd wonder why a rental company would spend that kind of money. Turns out Governor Newsom in California had something to do with it. I don't know if they helped pay for them, give them giant rebates on them or something, but 250 grand for a skid loader. You'd have to charge, I can't imagine what kind of rental they would have to charge to ever get that money back if they had to pay full price. I think we're getting close. Yeah, this is called Neville Island. This is where the river forms an island. There's an island, you know, the river's on both sides. Place got to be here somewhere.
You have arrived.
It says I have arrived. Custom hoses assembly while you wait. All right, got my hose. It's not the exact fitting, but it still swivels. It'll work fine. $87. Not bad. I mean, 10 years ago, it's about 30 bucks, but 87 bucks. I'll be back in business here shortly. I'm weird about stuff like this. Like, I have a million other things I could have just went and done today, and I could have got that hose fixed on Monday. But whenever something's broke, I just like to get it fixed as soon as possible, and I hate when things aren't ready to go. You know what I mean? So we got her taken care of, and it's all good. So just got back to the house. I should have measured this hose before I left. He could have reused that hose, but it would have been 4 inches shorter, and I wasn't sure if I needed all that length, so I just had to make a new hose. All right, I got the new hose on, and at first glance, it looks like I have plenty of length. However, since the bucket tilts, I need this extra bit right here for it to move. Otherwise, I would bust the fitting off again. So I'm glad I didn't use the old hose. So before I put the tilt bucket on and broke that fitting, I gathered up a little bit of limestone. I'll need some more, but I put it over the top of that inlet right there. And once I get some number 3 rock, I'll line just a little section of that ditch, but that'll kind of keep people from driving over the end of it at least. All right, so we're gonna get started here. I've had a lot of comments from today's video about fire extinguishers. A lot of people have seen Andrew Camarada's video already where he burned up one of his excavators, and he didn't have a fire extinguisher on it. He had one on another machine, but it was not charged, so he lost an excavator. Total loss. It burned up bad. I have some fire extinguishers around, a lot of them, but not on each piece of equipment. That should be something that I do. You just never know. That happens a lot with forestry equipment, like chippers and grinders. Excavators, they burn up as well, and you got to keep them clean. You got places where, you know, wood chips and debris can lay, or you could have had a hydraulic leak or something. It doesn't happen that often, but it definitely happens. It does. I'm hoping to get this finished up here in like an hour and a half, because then I need to mow all of the trails. I'm going to use the LX for that. If you saw the last video, you know the Kubota partnership is ending. And until I get a replacement, once that LX tractor and brush hog goes, I will not have one. So that is on the list of priorities. It's one of those things you only need it a couple times a year, but when you do, you do, you know? I'm going to miss that LX though. That's a nice tractor. And if you saw, we got that new buggy the other day, a Can-Am Defender. It's called the Can-Am Defender Max Limited, or Limited Max. Max just means it's the 6-seater, it's the big one. But man, is that thing nice. I don't know, I never had a Can-Am before. I know people that, you know, that have them, they really like them. Hopefully it lasts us a long time, but those things have changed so much
over the years. You know, we used to have that Polaris Crew, but that thing, I sold it to a buddy of mine. They're still running it, no problems with it. And, you know, it's a nice side-by-side, but compared to that new one, that Can-Am, we just rode it around a little bit. It feels like you're driving a Buick LeSabre through the woods. You know, that nice ride? That's the way that Can-Am is. And it's got loads of power. Yeah, I can't wait to take that thing down to West Virginia for like a weekend, you know what I mean? And do some serious, put some miles on it. This rock's coming up better than I thought. But anyway, topic of today's video, I got a question for you guys. I'm about to make a small change on the channel. Not a change, an addition, I guess you could say. I went down a rabbit hole there the last couple weeks, and I've been reading and studying a little bit about history, Civil War history in particular. And there's a reason for that. My father was really knowledgeable and into the Civil War. And over the years, he got a huge collection of Civil War items, from different types of swords and rifles and mini balls and cannonballs and a flag from the Civil War, all kind of stuff, okay? And I know a little bit about it just from remembering stories that my dad had told me about certain things. And then I'm trying to refresh my memory on a lot of things and learn some new things. And I've been on the internet and just reading about it, and it's crazy. It was. But my dad used to buy like Civil War swords, I think like way back in the 60s, you know? I think I got a leak. I did have a leak. This one right here. What happened was I tightened this one down. This one swivels, but after it's tight, it won't swivel. So I needed to adjust the other one, so I loosened this back up, and I forgot to snug her down. We should be good. But anyway, kind of forgot where I was. Yeah, my dad, big Civil War collector, history buff, has a real nice collection of different things. But like back in the 60s, he was buying like Civil War swords. Back then you could find them, you know, like at yard sales and garage sales and stuff like that. And he bought them and held on to them over the years. And I've been learning more and more about all that stuff. And I was thinking about, not all the time, but maybe every couple weeks, going over some of that stuff and sharing some of it in videos. I think it's really interesting. I do. Like last night, I learned the difference between a sword and a saber, which I kind of knew the difference already, but I confirmed what I thought. The sabers were curved, and they were more for like slashing, and a regular sword is more for like thrusting straight ahead. But the Civil War was just, man, it was ugly. I didn't even know until I started looking some of this stuff up. Like the Revolutionary War, nobody knows for sure, but their best estimate is total number of Americans lost that got killed on the battlefield, not by disease and everything else, but killed on the battlefield in the Revolutionary War was about 6,800, okay? Now in the Civil War, just the Battle of Gettysburg, there was more killed in that one battle than the entire Revolutionary War. Like the Civil War in general, best estimates are 620,000 killed, died. And probably over half was from disease, not so much battle. You know what I mean? Or they got wounded and then just died from infection, or there's all kind of stuff going around. Guys were malnourished, living in tight quarters, all types of illnesses. But I was thinking of that, 600 and some thousand people killed. I don't know what the population was of the United States then, but it had to have been where everybody had at least a first cousin that was killed or wounded in the Civil War. Had to be. But yeah, 620,000. But that was my question. If I could always start just another YouTube channel, but I don't know if I'd have enough stuff to last for years. But I was thinking every couple weeks, we can go over some swords and cannonballs and mini balls. The mini ball was, they were rough. Up until the Civil War, they always used a round ball, no rifling. And then partway through the Civil War, after it started, they started using the mini ball in rifled barrels, which I think is one of the main reasons casualties were so high. It was very accurate, and lining up like they did. We'll get into that in another video, but I learned a lot about why they did that. I always scratched my head, be like, I'd be over there behind that tree. But there was a reason for it. Whether it was a good reason or bad reason is to be debated, but there were several reasons for it. Several good ones and also some bad ones. But if that is something that would interest you, maybe every 2 weeks or so, we'll do like a Civil War Wednesday or something. But there's some really nice stuff. Really, really nice stuff. One thing is just incredible. I won't get into it today, but it tells the whole story. It really does. At least for the 11th Pennsylvania, it tells the whole story. So let me know in the comments if that is something that you would like to see. I'd probably just sit down over on the patio, get a camera, a good mic, some cool old Civil War stuff, and we'll talk about it. So let me know. I think my leak is gone. Can't believe it. I had 2 fittings to tighten and I forgot one of them. That's pretty bad. I'll have to go get the skid loader soon. I could keep working, but what happens is you get such a big pile of dirt in front of you. What I'll do, I'll push some down with the excavator first, but you get this big pile, and then each time you move, you can't go as far. But what I can do is kind of back up a little, just pull some of this down, and then I'll get on that ditch with the blade on the excavator and pour all back some. right, I got everything straightened up out here. Got a nice ditch cut all the way down to this culvert pipe right here. I need to dress that up just a little bit around there. I might put some riprap or something. But all in all, I think it looks really good. Next week, I'll look at the weather, and if I have a couple good days, we'll get this all stoned. I'm gonna rent a roller as well, so I'll have to take care of that and, you know, get the roller here, get the stone delivered. I should be able to get it all done in a day if I can get everything delivered. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think this will work out really good. Nice ditch line all the way down. I had a lot of people mention why I didn't just slope the road this way so the water would run off. That just never really worked for me, because what would happen, you'd get in a heavy rain where it would start to go over, and then it would form like an erosion channel right down the middle of the road. I like pitching everything to the inside, because all the water comes from this direction up here and that direction up there. So catch it in the ditch down to the culvert pipe. And I mentioned before, we are on top of a hill right here. Probably goes up there another 100 feet and it starts to go the other way. So it's not like, you know, we're down in the bottom where you're gonna have tons of water. So I think it'll work out good. But anyway, before we wrap this up, don't forget, in the comments, let me know if you would like to see some occasional videos on some really cool Civil War stuff. So let me know. Appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.